Welcome back to CBS Soap Dish Recap, where we recap everything CBS soaps, both the Young and the Restless and the Bold and the Beautiful. This is your Young and the Restless recap for August 22nd. And in this episode, look like Nick is still struggling after the investigation is over. Chance is still struggling after the investigation is over. Victor and Adam has a little tiff, and it looks like something may be rebuilding between Victoria and Billy. So before we unpack this, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and please don't forget to like and share. So we're over at Crimson Lights. Nick finds Sharon, and he gives her some updates on Chance's decision to close the Ashland Locke investigation. Now, Sharon thinks that this is great news, but she senses a little bit that Nick is still troubled. Now, although Nick didn't mean to kill Ashland, as we all know, he is responsible for a man's death, and that's not an easy burden for him to carry. Now, Nick deal with some difficult inner turmoil as he try to cope with all of this. Nick also has a problem with Victor too because of how he handled all of this. And so we see with him a lot of resentment is built up since it's always Victor's way or the highway, even if it means breaking laws, bending rules, and creating all this chaos. And part of Nick still wants to confess what he knows about the cover-up too. So it feels like to him, it's wrong to let Victor get away with all of this. But Sharon offers important reminders as well. Stirring up, all this stuff again will cause Victoria more pain. And that's certainly not what Nick wants to happen. And, deep down, Nick realized that he, had to suck it up and accept, this as being the outcome for all parties involved. But can they actually live with it is the question. So, I'm wondering at this point, is he going to let this all go? Or is he going to continue to spiral downward in all of this anguish? So now we're over at Society. Chance was there sitting at the bar alone having a drink. He didn't even notify his wife, and Abby didn't even know that he was even there. So she shut the place down, let, some of her staff go home and lock the doors because she know that she needed to figure out what's going on with her husband. And part of her knows what this is about because she knew that he was under a lot of stress because of this investigation and her family being involved. Now, once she kind of get the details without knowing everything, Chance did kind of catch her up to speed with the fact that, even though he had a lot of evidence supporting the fact that her father was involved in a cover-up, at the same time, he called it circumstantial, and that pretty much a defense attorney, especially one like Victor's, probably could just throw it out the window because it had too many holes in it. At the same time, we do see Abby being relieved by this because no matter what her family does to her, even though they treat her like an outsider, she still have loyalty to them and, of course, don't want anything to happen to them. But the problem with this is that her husband is torn between the decision that he made to pretty much let the Newmans off the hook, even though he had a lot of evidence, and at the same time, give his integrity pretty much kicked off to the side at this point because that's just who he is. And as happy as she was about it, he wasn't happy that she felt that, he had to compromise himself to let her family off the hook, which honestly, I understand that. At the same time, signing up with marrying inside the Newman family, Billy has experienced it. Adam has experienced it as a family member. And now Chance has to go through this. I mean, it's just unfortunate that anybody connected to, Victor Newman is going to feel the wrath. So I don't know how long this is going to last with their marriage. So we're over at the ranch. Adam shows up saying, "Hello, father." And, he got a okay welcome from Victor. And so they have this whole conversation about, what's been going on because of the fact that he's been on a fishing expedition, meaning Adam, because, of course, just like Abby, he's on the outside of this Newman family, even though they're Newmans, looking in. And they did start off talking about Connor and how great he's doing and how he's going into the coding field. Victor didn't know what that is because coding is a new thing that's in technology today. But he was excited to know that, Connor is interested in that. And then this is where we hear Adam talks about the fact that, he's not a failure like his father. And so Victor is like, well, what are you talking about? Well, here's the thing, these two are so much alike, but they're also so opposing to each other. And this whole conversation about him trying to find out about Ashlyn Locke and Adam pushing his buttons. Victor is like, look, you're trying to piss me off. I'm having a good day. Adam is like, why are you having a good day? And ultimately what it comes out to be is the fact that he got away with a cover up. And of course, Adam, being on this fishing expedition, want to know exactly what happened. Now, without all full context, we did see Victor kind of give him the cliff notes of what happened. And of course, Adam is like, yeah, I believe it's a lot more to the story. And you can tell that, there's this heat that's happening between them. And it's always been this up and down relationship with these two. But Adam is going to continue to do whatever Adam wants, no matter how much Victor objects. And unfortunately, this Ashlyn mayhem may not be over, since we all know from the spoilers that Adam is poised to steal evidence later in the week. And, he's probably going to use this as ammunition, because one of the things that Adam said to his father before taking off was the fact that, just because you think that everything is over, somewhere out there, another shoe is waiting to drop. So don't get so comfortable thinking that you won this round. So we know that Adam, of course, is going to probably position himself to take him down. Because the other thing is, he pleaded his case with his father that he's been doing everything to protect his family, but he's not recognizing. And I agree with that. He was the main one that fought off Gaines and Billy and even Nick to keep from exposing Ashlyn, and tried to get him out of town, tried to warn Victoria and Nick, but Victoria had to come up with this plan to try to stick a stake at another snake, and it turned around and it blew up in her face. So I get where he's coming from. So I can't wait to see what Adam does next. Okay, so let's head over to Victoria's place. This is her first time back since, the whole Ashlyn Locke debacle. And as much as she didn't want Ashlyn to run her away from her home, she's still having triggering moments about the last time she was there and what happened. And, how she had this whole confrontation with Ashlyn, what happened with Nick coming in there, trying to rescue her and everything. And we see Billy stops by. And that was a comforting thought at this point, because, she needed that in that moment. Now, Billy have some guidance for Victoria. They have a discussion about Johnny. They have a discussion about Ashlyn. And first of all, he was wondering why she was still there, even though the investigation was not over yet. Well, she did update him that the investigation was officially over. And this is where Billy, of course, started to try to get more information on what happened. Why did Chance even go through all of this if it ended up being just an accident? And so she, said, hey, I'm going to give you this in confidence and I'm going to need you to keep this a secret. So she broke down everything that happened. About the fact of Ashlyn coming into the house, Nick defending her. They stepped outside. Victor's men came in without knowing actually what happened. And the rest is history. And so, of course, even though he hated, Victor, I think he hates Ashlyn more. So he really actually gave Victor a pass on this one. So then again, they started talking about, the happiness that they have around the kids. They started talking about Christmas cookies and different things that they do together or they remember doing together as a couple. And this is interesting conversation because they are getting really close with the reminiscing, and I'm wondering what Lily would have think about some of the things that he had to say about how remarkable a woman she is. And she's the best woman that I know. And I mean, he was laying it on thick and he seemed like he was really genuine with what he's saying. Between Victoria and Chelsea, I see a Lily Billy relationship demise coming up soon because I can guarantee you it seems like he's pulling more away from Lily, and especially because he doesn't want to work in the C-suite, which we saw last week. But, Victoria opened up about her fears. They talk about her being Johnny's mom, even, this whole thing coming up about Chelsea, which is a whole nother storyline. So, the spoilers say Victoria will appreciate having Billy to lean on. So who knows where that would lead. So we have to stay tuned to The Young and the Restless to see what happens the rest of this week. Okay, so there you have it. Your Young and the Restless recap for Monday, August 22nd, 2022. Stay tuned for the bold and the beautiful recap for today as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section about Victor and Adam, Billy and Victoria, the marriage of Abby and Chance, and what's going to happen with Nick and his whole mindset. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.